Hey, what's up everybody? It's Nick Chino from VigilanteDetective.com and welcome to my rock album review for the new album from Paul McCartney. It's called Egypt Station. Alright, my horrible Liverpudlian accent aside, this is Paul McCartney's 17th solo studio record and his 24th record overall, because obviously he did some albums with Wings, and this album is produced by Greg Kurstin, who is kind of the go-to guy in the world of rock right now to make great records. He produced some tracks on the new Liam Gallagher album, As You Were, as well as Foo Fighters' Concrete and Gold. And yeah, just to give you a little bit of history on me and Paul, we've never met, but we know each other very well through music. I grew up a diehard Beatles fan. You know, when I was driving in the car, when I was a kid with my mom, we would be listening to the oldies station here in Hamilton, Oldies 1150, and we listened to the Beatles and Motown and Rolling Stones and all that old stuff. So I grew up with the Beatles. I kind of became more of a diehard fan when I got older, when I went to college, and me and my buddies went to Liverpool and London a couple of times to do all the Beatles sightseeing. Went and crossed Abbey Road a whole bunch of times. Yeah, you can see that right here. I'm just crossing Abbey Road a whole bunch of times, probably more than I should have. People get mad when you hold up the traffic at Abbey Road. But anyways, yes, just so you know, I'm a huge Beatles fan, and when it comes to Paul McCartney's solo stuff, he's got so many records in his catalog that it's a little bit up and down for me. So there's some records that I love and some records that I don't really like. When it comes to the records that I love from Paul, I love Ram, Band on the Run, obviously, Wings at the Speed of Sound. I like Red Rose Speedway from, you know, his 70s output. In terms of his later output, I love Chaos and Creation in the Backyard. I love Memory Almost Full, and his last album, New, which came out in 2013. Alright, so let's get to the album itself. It's called Egypt Station, and you know what? This is a Paul McCartney album. It starts out with a little bit of an intro track, which seems to be all the rage these days on albums. Everybody's putting in intro tracks. And then after that, we get to a song called I Don't Know, which is more of a piano-driven McCartney ballad. Obviously, he's very good at those. But it starts the album off on a little bit more of a somber note before we move into the big song, which is Come On To Me, which is his latest single. And I think this is probably his strongest single in a long time. It's got a really driving beat. It's got some great guitars, some great vocals, some great horns on it as well. So I actually really love the new single from Paul McCartney called Come On To Me. Alright, so let me just run down some of the highlights for me on this record, some of the songs that I absolutely loved. I didn't love everything, but overall I think it kind of tipped towards more being a stronger album than a weaker album. Like I said, Come On To Me, which is the single. Happy With You, which is another kind of plucked guitar song that's similar to Blackbird, Mother Nature's Son. Paul is no stranger to that soft guitar picking. Who Cares, which is a really driving rocker. It's bluesy, it's catchy. I really like that one. He actually played it at Grand Central Station a couple of, I guess it was last week or so, and they uploaded that on YouTube. If you haven't seen that performance, it's fantastic. His band has always been incredible. There's that song called For You, which is a little bit poppier. I know he worked with the guy from One Republic on that song. The title is weird. The lyrics are a little bit weird. It kind of sounds like, I don't know what it sounds like, but it's still a really, really catchy song, a good single. You have a song called People Want Peace, which is a Beatlesque peace song. We know John Lennon loved to do peace songs. Ringo is all about peace. Peace and love, peace and love, peace and love. So that's another great peace-related song from Paul McCartney. Ringo would be proud of that one. Dominoes, which is kind of like a mid-tempo rocker with a great bridge. It's got a really trippy ending. Very, very cool stuff. Maybe my favorite track on this record is called Back in Brazil. Now this sounds like it could be a McCartney 2 outtake. If you know McCartney 2, it's a weird album. It came out in 1980. Paul McCartney's doing all sorts of weird electronic synthesizer stuff on that. So Back in Brazil reminded me of that. Another song called Sheja Rock I enjoyed as well. It's another trippy kind of experimental number that also has a little bit of a rock vibe to it as well. Despite Repeated Warnings, which is, Paul McCartney once again getting political. He was never as political as John Lennon, but you know what? He still carries on that legacy. Like I said, with songs like People Want Peace, and that one is just kind of continuing the Beatles legacy. Nice Beatlesy, McCartney-esque flourishes throughout the songs and throughout the album that just still reminds you, this guy's Paul McCartney. He was a Beatle. He's a solo artist. That is what he sounds like, and he kind of plays to his strengths on this record. And yeah, those are my favorites off the album. There are a couple of tracks here and there that I didn't really connect with, but overall, I think I really, really, really like this album. And like I said, it's just McCartney at his best. Alright, so overall, this is a really strong McCartney album. I would put it into the same category as some of his later albums like Chaos and Creation in the Backyard, Memory Almost Full. It might be better than New, which came out a couple of years ago, but overall, this is a Paul McCartney record, okay? He's older now. He's not going to reinvent the wheel in 2018. He's just going to do what sounds good to him. He's going to do what's fun. He's going to do what connects with his fans, and I think Egypt Station is going to be an album that McCartney and Beatles fans are going to love. Alright, so let's give it a score. I'm going to give Egypt Station, the new record from Paul McCartney, or Sir Paul McCartney, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. This is a solid effort, well worth a listen, and it's good to see that Paul McCartney is still making great music in 2018. Alright, that is my rock album review of the new album from Sir Paul McCartney called Egypt Station. Let me know what you think of the album in the comments below. Make sure to like this video, make sure to subscribe to the channel, check out all the articles on music, movies, TV, and everything over at vigilantedetective.com, and follow me on social media at The Walking Nick. We will see you again for the next rock album review. This is Chino, out.